All right, so this is going to be a game with myself against Tom, and Tom is using Horus and 16th Legion, and I'm using on my 18th Legion Salamanders. So first of all, I'll get Tom to do a rundown of all the stuff he's taken, basically. Over to you, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. So I've taken the Long March Rite of War, which allows all of my infantry to have +1 to all their movement, unless they're charging or assaulting. So I've taken quite a heavy infantry-based army, sort of going to just run forward straight at you, try and get into combat as quickly as possible, really play into the Sons of Horus' strength. So I've got 3 tactical squads, 2 all have chainswords back here, and then one 12-man squad at the front with chain bayonets. And I've got a Praetor with a Paragon Blade and a Caesaran Power Axe, which is just AP3 and breaching, but it's a specialist weapon, so it gives him +1 attack.
Cool.
The whole army is obviously being led by Horus himself, because for an opportunity for a nasty game, I thought I'd give him a bit of a run out and see how good he actually is in this edition. Seems like a bit of an absolute beast, and he gives the whole army +1 to their leadership and stubborn if they're infantry.
Nice.
So that ties in really nicely with the Long March Rite of War and taking lots of infantry. To back him up, I've got a nice 8-man unit of Justairian Terminators with a mixture of weapons. There's a couple of Power Fists, a couple of Thunder Hammers, and a couple of Lightning Claws in there as well, just so they're a bit diverse to take on every sort of target. And 5 Combi Plasmas, because they're only 5 points, makes a really nice sort of gives them a nice little bit of ranged firepower as well.
Mm-hmm. You got some Thunder Hammers as well.
I've got 2 Thunder Hammers, 2 Power Axes, 2 Lightning Claws, and 2 Power Fists.
Nice.
So it's a nice range, and obviously them being weapon skill 5 and strength 9 on the charge, those Thunder Hammers could be pretty useful.
Mm-hmm.
Backing them up, I've got 2 Contemptors, single talons each, so I can move them around a bit more easily. One with a Melter Cannon and Combi Bolter, and one with just a Gravis Las Cannon. Just because I didn't really have any points left over to put anything in the fists, but it'd be nice to have like Plasma Blasters or something. And again, they count towards the Long March, so they have a 9-inch move each.
Oh, nice.
Which is quite a scary prospect. Up the back here, I've got 3 Landspeeder Proteus that a really interesting unit, because you can now take Volkite Culverins as an underslung weapon. So each one is popping out 10 Volkite shots.
Wow, that's awesome.
Turn. So yeah, they've got a similar amount of firepower to a heavy support squad.
Yeah.
But they've a lot more manoeuvrable.
Is that 10 each then, each one of them?
10 each, so that's 30 shots
Cool.
from the whole squad.
That's awesome.
And because they've got 3 wounds each and their toughness 5, they're a bit more resilient. Fits in with the whole manoeuvrable aspect of the army.
Yeah, nice.
I don't like the idea of a solid fire base to an army that should be just marching forward and going at you.
That's cool.
Then got 2 javelins with las cannons and multi-melters. They were a solid choice in the last edition, and I think they're just fantastic in this one. A lot harder to kill, and the fact that they've got 2 las cannons rather than a twin-linked, definitely vast improvement. Nice. Again, they can keep up with the land speeders. And finally, I have a Spartan with a twin-linked las cannon, pintle-mounted multi-melter, searchlights, and a flare shield. So just to get Horus and the Terminators across the board.
Yeah, awesome.
And that's it. It's pretty much 3,000 points.
Okay, yeah. Great stuff. Oh, all right. Awesome stuff. Okay, so what I'll do, I mean, as normal, mate, amazing job on a painting. It's just insane. So good. And you got the Mark sort of mix of Mark 6 Marines and on this squad over here, probably?
So this squad are my Mark 6 Marines that I got from the Age of Darkness box.
Yeah.
They've all got the forge-rolled shoulder pads.
Yeah.
Same with the normal Marines, but I tend to run them as a bit of a meat shield.
Yeah.
Mark 6, all in as like cheap, shitty new armour. Just run them forward and see how they do.
You got some different helmet there on the. Is that
just 1 or 2? So like one of them's got like a Mark 5 helmet on, and then the sergeant's got their Legion specific one as well.
Yeah, nice.
And with the normal tactical Marines, they're just all a bit of a mishmash of armour marks between Mark 3 and Mark 4.
Yeah.
Because I tried to make them look really individual, as though their armour has been embellished or scavenged throughout the Heresy.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Sort of battle damage and replaced by just picking off the dead, isn't it? Sort of things like that.
Exactly. Needs must, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So
okay.
Either holding on to their old equipment or just trying to make do.
Awesome stuff. Right. Well, I'll set mine up and have a little chat about my stuff. But yeah,
Nice.
Great stuff. Cheers, mate. All right, I'll pause it here. All right then. Back we go. Okay, so this is my army, 18th Legion, obviously led by Vulkan. Here he is, the big lad. I'm using the Covenant of Fire. What that does is that makes Pyroclasts become troops and have line. So therefore, I've got quite a lot of those. I've got 30 of those. So here's basically here's the ones that stay with him. So here's like 10 of them with him, given the sergeant wherever he is. A Thunderhammer because it's cool. Also, it's got brutal too, so that's good. So that's that. The other squad over here, again, the Pyroclast leader has got a Thunderhammer and 10 of those guys. I've got a Rhino. It has got those, but I haven't modelled it on because I'm a horrible human being.
Yeah.
And the same over here. So I think they've got searchlights as well, actually. Pretty sure they have. So again, I haven't modelled them on because I'm horrendous. Yep, so another 10 Pyroclasts. Lots of Bernie death, which is always fun. I've got a defence line, which was really nicely made by Steve, which is awesome. I don't know if not sure if he designed it or just stole it. But anyway, it looks really cool. Sort of Salamanders specific. I've just sort of put some, transfers on it. Okay, 10 Lascans. The Vexilla is obviously over there, holding his little banner up high. And then somewhere I've got the augury scanner. There it is, a little red sort of thing on his base, just to denote like some sort of flashing thing of a warning. The rest know what's going on. Sergeant's got no helmet on. And yeah, 10 Lascans there, all looking happy. What else do we have? So I have, here we go, some Recon Marines. I am adapting these, so they, at the moment, obviously they look just like Tactical Marines, but they will be changed when I have a bit more time to get it done. So again, the Vexilla with the banner and the augury scanner is the red sort of case that bleeps out when the enemy turn up nearby so we can shoot them. Okay, so they've all got Nemesis bolters, of course. So I've got 3 squads of 5 of those, all the Nemesis bolters. And then what else do we have? Ah, yes. So characters, I have to take a champion, which is this chap here with Paragon Blades. It's a big long thing. And then he's got a Thunderhammer as well, so he's got 2 special weapons. You can actually kit these people out insanely. So he's got a Dragon Scale Storm Shield, which is, I'll turn around over here, and a Nemesis bolter as well, because you get Relentless, so you can move and fire this silly thing. Chaplain, Nemesis bolter again, Thunderhammer, and again the same detail, so Dragon Scale Storm Shield, and then a Librarian with Biomancy, again with a Thunderhammer, and Nemesis bolter again, and then Dragon Scale Storm Shield, and that's it. So quite a small army, lots of Bernie death, and yeah, let's move on to see what mission we get. Okay, this is the battlefield. So it's like a desert plain, some really cool hills. You probably can't see, so that's how tall they are, so they can easily hide like rhinos and smaller vehicles, maybe even Spartans behind those things. These sort of a bit smaller, but good line of sight blocking scenery. Over here, yeah. So yeah, some good line of sight near to blocks. We have to think about where we're going to put troops, and no ruins to sort of not really to hide in. One little bit there. So yeah, that's sort of an overview of it. So it'll be interesting. It'll be cool.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to roll for the mission now. Go for it.
Cheers. 5 for Tide of Carnage.
Tide of Carnage, cool. Okay.
Deployment type
Yep. Deployment type next.
is also 5. Ambush.
Oh, lovely. This will be awesome. This will be so much fun.
Okay. Absolutely ridiculous.
Cool.
Then.
Right, we're going to set up, and then we'll go from there. Okay, right, we're going to roll for... Oh, I have got a scale dice. Good point. I picked up a scale dice. Look. Dumbass. All right. Let's roll for who is attacking and defending.
Right.
Oh, boom, it's a high one.
3. You choose, mate.
Right, I have to think about this. Here we go. I'll think about it, and we'll set up after. Okay, so I have set up. So what I've done is I've got a Rhino just over here. It's got my 10 Pyroclasts in, ready to hopefully go forward against the enemy. Defense line has been set up over here, of course. So just a big sort of line, really. And then obviously the las cannon heavy support squad are sitting behind that. And because Tom's army hasn't got any blasts, I've sort of been a bit blasé about not spreading them out too much. But I also wanted to spread them out so they can have line of sight, because there's big LOS blocking bits in the middle. Okay, so then I have a power class unit in the middle with Vulkan and all the attached characters. So they're in the middle there, as far as I can go forward, 12 inches. And then another rhino at the other end with more pyroclasting to sort of go forward again. Then Tom set his army up. I'll let you explain yours, mate.
Yeah, so I've got both my dreadnoughts right at the front, ready to push on either side of your lines, just to hopefully force you to make a mistake that way. Got the old Spartan here with Horus and the Justarian sitting in, but just out of charge range for you, so hopefully I'll be able to capitalise on that. And my Praetor over this side with just a tactical squad. Everything else I'll try to hide behind a bit of cover, just to give a little bit of a reprieve from that 10-man las cannon squad.
Yeah, sure.
As well as these guys back here to try and push into your deployment zone on this side. There's obviously Shout Strikers there. So
yeah, we had a bit.
Clash of the Line's a weird one.
We had a bit of a funny one with Clash of the Line, because essentially the attacker, being me this time, I've got a deployment zone here, which I've put most of my army inside. Then my recon marines went in my other deployment zone, so I've got 2 deployment zones essentially. Whereas obviously this mission really relies on one. So, but we just decided to say it was one deployment zone, but just not linked, to save messing around. So, but when we come to the game, we'll talk more about that. Obviously, Tom's in his one in the centre, but all this stuff is in there. And no man's land is obviously the gaps surrounding whole thing. So it's 3 points for a scoring unit with line in your own deployment zone, 5 points in no man's land, and of course you can't have any enemy line in those zones to claim it. And then the enemy one is 7, I believe.
Yep.
And then I think it's most likely Slay the Warlorders normal would be +1. And I can't remember the other one.
Yeah, Slay the Warlord and Last Man Standing.
And Last Man Standing. So I think it's the whoever's got the most units alive gets an extra point, I think.
That's the one. Yep.
Cool. Excellent.
Surviving units as well.
Excellent. So it should be a bloodbath because we're so close to each other. All right, let's see if
Hopefully.
Tom seizes.
Right then, Pete.
Here we go, mate.
4. No.
4. No. All right. So
you go first.
I will do. I'll do my movement phase. Talk a little bit about that, and then we'll move into the shooting phase, and that's how I run it. So let's do it. All right. Okay, fine. So movement stuff. So recon marines just stood where they were at the back, and over there. There was no moving for them. Over in the corner. So I'll do it in order, I guess. So this power class squad moved towards the Contemptor. I thought he might back off. He didn't have much space to go anywhere anyway. And then Tom activated his reaction, which was
Advance.
Yeah, advanced one, because the War Master lets you do
2 per phase, once per battle.
Yeah, so he's got 2 in the shooting phase and 2 in the assault phase as well next, which is cool. Anyway, so I moved my guys as close as I could towards the Contemptor. Then he reacted and advanced on me. Also, this Rhino with Pyroclast moved up 14 and turned a bit. And then my Rhino over here moved up 7. And then at that point, the Contemptor moved forward. Then I got out and just scrambled around the building with the Pyroclast. So that is that bit. I think that's all movement done. Yeah, alright, so shooting then. So I'm just going to do a psychic check for the Biomancer Psyker, which is in the middle, just to basically try and get extra toughness on that whole unit. Yeah, 1 and a 6, I think. Yep. So they've got +1. They get +1 strength anyway, but now they've got +1 toughness. So it just means that when the Contemptor hits me in the face, he doesn't double me out. It's pretty cool. Alright, so we'll come back and see what the shooting does. Awesome. Okay, that was the end of the shooting phase. So what happened? Let's have a look. Okay, so we tried our very best to kill the Contemptor, but unfortunately 16th Legion bounced a lot of them on their adamantic shielding, and he's down to 3 wounds, so I have to do it the old-fashioned way, smashing him in the face in combat. Over here then, obviously there is no Contemptor, so the Pyroclast, again, he made some good saves, got him down to 3 wounds. He blew up, and penetrated, hit the Rhino, caused the hull damage and snap firing next round, and also he shot back return fire and killed 2 Pyroclasts. That was sad times. But then the las cannon team over here, they finished him off basically. So the Contemptor died from the las cannons, a mixture of las cannons and the Pyroclast shooting it. All right, over here then, the Recon Marines fired at this squad and shot out the sergeant, and then pinned with my awesome, cool new tokens. They don't look that green there. What I did with these is they do come clear, as in like the middle parts you have to paint, and basically I put red and yellow and a bit of white to try and make them look a bit flamey. I've got loads over there. I'll show you the difference. So that's under that sort of under that bit there. They are a bit green, but you just can't see it very well. So anyway, this squad is pinned, which is awesome, and then the other squad over there, Recon Marines over there, shot out the sergeant from here. They weren't pinned because they had extra leadership from Horus and Stubborn, so they weren't pinned, they're fine. And then my other Recon Marines shot at the Praetor, but he saved it. Alright, so just quickly show everybody my cool new token set, which is awesome. As you can see, I've sort of made a bit of an effort on painting the flames on them, and look a bit more green on the white background. So if you put them on like here, it's a bit darker, but they are green on the white background, so pretty awesome. So there we are. So that's what I bought for the army a while ago. Okay, cool. So we'll get onto the assault phase, and then we'll see what happens. There's only one assault really, it's this one. Here we go. Okay, this is the charge. I just wanted to quickly film it just because it looks really cool. Basically, yeah, he's absolutely surrounded. Poor Dreadnought. Let's see if he can hold the line. Here we go. Okay, so we had one combat to do. It was a Contemptor, and basically Vulkan crushed it horribly. Vulkan's hammer's not brutal or anything, but he just managed to smash him up because he had 3 wounds left, and he failed like, how many failed?
4 out of 6.
4 out of 6. So, yep, Contemptor died, and then because Big Scary Horus and friends are in that Spartan, I moved as far as I could possibly in this direction. So hopefully it just increases the charge for those nasty kids. Awesome. So yeah, so I guess a couple of more things. There was no night fight because Tom rolled a 1, so there's that. And what else? Summary of the round really: pinned a tactical squad, killed 2 Contemptors, and I got hull point on my own Rhino, and I lost a few Pyroclasts, and that was my turn 1. So I'll come back after Tom's movement phase. Cool. Fun.
Go for it.
Yep.
Right. Oh yeah, so I've moved my Spartan up and disembarked Horus and the Justarian, ready to start taking on that unit of Pyroclasts. I've got my Praetor and the tactical squad there. They've also moved up to try and get them in, just to put a little bit of extra pressure on you, because that is a horrible unit and I need to throw as much as I can just to do anything against you. The Javelins have moved up back here as well to try and threaten either the las cannons or the Pyroclasts over here.
Yep.
And back here we've got my tactical Marines.
Yep.
So everyone's out of range of the snipers. Yep. So I've ran one tactical squad backwards, start trying to go towards the objective, and I've got the other one that's just they're pinned, so they won't be able to do anything but snap fire this turn. And finally, I've moved my land speeder squadron with the Volkites to start putting pressure on those recon squads at the back to hopefully whittle them down every turn. So yeah, I mean, not much I can do, so just got to start getting onto the shooting phase.
Oh yeah. Movement reactions. I suppose I better have a look at doing that.
Yeah.
All right, and then we'll come back. Okay, still movement phase. Because I was completely forgot because I went to loo. Had to go back for the reaction. So movement reaction was Vulkan squad reacting to the fact that the Warmaster himself was after them. So we tactically withdrew rather than retreat and ran away over here. Unfortunately, I parked my own Rhino in the way, so I couldn't go that far. But no, you know, anything to get away from him. Cool. And then shooting phase next. So go for it.
Right. So I started with the Spartan, and it opened fire on the las cannon squads, which you can see is now completely absent. Took a few of them out whilst taking 2 hull points in return. he only had 2 shots on the side armour, and luckily they failed to do anything. And obviously that's when Pete returned fire with them.
Yep.
At which point I then opened up with the javelins on the same target, because they would be free from any return fires. I want to kind of concentrate on that. Thanks to your withdraw reaction over here, you've left Horus at quite a long charge.
Yep.
So I also allocated the Justarian and Horus into the las cannon guys, with Horus himself taking out the final 3
Dispatching
guys,
the last 3 guys.
using the Talon, whereas Pete failed to make any cover saves for them.
Yeah.
Then moving towards the back of the board over here, I haven't done any shooting with my tactical marines, but the Vulkan land speeders managed to take out 3 of the the recon marines back there, who now have to do a leadership test, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah. So I might as well roll that.
Yeah.
Do something on camera. Why not? Do some rolling on camera. All right. I think that's it, isn't it? Because they were dead. Yeah, obviously they're all dead. Right, cool. So test with these guys. Oh, 4 and then whatever that is.
That's
3. So yeah,
7.
they're all right because the sergeant is still alive. Him. So they're standing there, being cool. And then you didn't want to fire with these because return fire would be horrendous.
Yep.
And that's the end of your shooting phase. Onto the assault phase.
Well, I was going to say I'm not actually going to do any assaults.
No assaults.
End of my turn 1.
Excellent. Okay, my turn 2. I'll come back after moving. Cool.
I need to.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. So moving phase. So first of all, Vulkan and the power class move towards Horus, and this time Horus ran away. We call his moving running away, and my one tactical withdrawing. I think it's only fair. So he moved back, and then that was the reaction they could do. So then my guys got out of the Rhino here, power class, and surrounded one of the tactical squad, ready to give them some good old-fashioned burning, which will be fun to see how many hits we get on them, I think, with lots of flame. And then I had a power class over here move towards Horus. Sounds mad, but there we go. And then the Rhino boost forward across there. I just need to whittle these down as much as I can, really. And then the recon squads, obviously, they didn't move, so I'll do some shooting. Alright, let's get on with the shooting phase. Okay, shooting phase over and done with for the 18th Legion. We're on turn 2. Okay, so we just rolled the dice here, and as you can see, there are no more tactical marines or Praetor left. It was 49 hits and 47 or 45 wounds, and then I mean it wasn't even close. Tom just made some really bad rolls early on, and they just
I lost 6 out of the first 10 dice.
Yeah, 6 out of the first 10, so they just all died horribly. Over here as well, I did my best to chew through the Justarian and Horus. Took 2 wounds off Horus and killed 2 Justarian with shooting, so not too bad. I'd hope for better, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. And then I think I killed a Marine, maybe over here with Recon Marine shooting, and didn't pin anyone. So yeah, so on to assault phase to see what happened next. Okay, so as you can see, the 18th Legion of Vulkan sped off into combat with Horus and the Justarian. I managed to roll a 9. Tom reacted and held the line. So yeah, essentially, before we roll dice, we just check what we got involved here. So we've got Horus and 6 Justarian with a series of combat weapons, of course, Vulkan, and I've got 8 power class left. Not very good in combat, but it is what it is. And then some attached characters: Chaplain, Librarian, and where's the other guy? Champion. And then yeah, so that's what we're going to swing at each other, and we'll see what happens after we roll some dice. Let's do it. Well, okay. Whew. End of combat. Absolutely and utterly brutal. Okay, so Vulkan saw off 3 Justarian on his own. It was average because they all got 6 wounds, so that he killed 3 of them. And then the rest of Justarian got killed by a series of Thunderhammers from the characters.
And Paragon Blade on
and the Paragon, the champion in the challenge did his job, killed the opposing challengee. And then we got Horus, who was absolutely horrible. Just swatted all the characters to death. Killed the Librarian first, then attacked the champion. The Chaplain, who saved 2 saves, but then got killed in the next two blows. And then he killed the sergeant, then the apothecary.
Absolutely took
so
the
he
teeth out,
absolutely slammed them. But, however, Horus is sitting on 3 wounds. Vulkan is unwounded. And he is still in combat. I mean, he has no help coming for this next combat round. So, it should be interesting what happens next with that. And then, yeah. And then that's literally turn 2. So, this is insane. Okay, so Tom's turn 2. Let's do it.
Right, so I started by moving the land speeders out to one side to clear space for my Spartan, which has reversed. Unfortunately, I didn't quite get out of 12 inches of his pyroclasts, so they have advanced on me to try and get close with their bloody melter weapons, which is fair enough. Moving back, I've got my tactical squad here, have started moving forward towards the snipers and also the rat line. And the Proteus land speeders have moved round here to give them a bit of support in fire. Then I've also moved the other tactical squad closer towards his recon squad in the back corner, just to try and put a bit of pressure on them and hopefully spend the rest of the game finishing them off. Nice. And that's it, because it's turn 2,
yep.
And we haven't got very much on the table already.
Yep.
So
shooting phase, right?
The shooting.
Cool. Let's do it. Okay.
Right. So for my shooting phase, I started with the Vulkan land speeders.
Yep.
Who didn't like the look of the old recon marines over here.
They were over there.
So they were over there. As you can see, they're now gone. So they caused, what was it, like 13 wounds?
Yeah.
And Pete unfortunately failed at least 6 of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're now gone.
I shrouded them, but
yeah,
I just don't think I rolled any.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Then the Spartan shot at the pyroclasts.
Yep.
And also the Rhino. So he has taken the guns off the Rhino with the multi-melter and killed 4 pyroclasts.
Yep.
And once again, Pete failed any shrouded saves.
Yep.
And then I used the land speeders here. I could have gone for the Rhino, but I wanted to take out the smaller pyroclasts and managed to kill 2 more of them with las cannons.
Nice.
And that's it. It's quite a short shooting phase. So
shooting phase done.
Yeah.
On to the combat. Can Horus survive this? Let's find out. He's got 3 wounds left. Let's do it. Okay. Do you take it from you?
So there was only the one combat.
Yeah.
And Pete still had a Legion champion who had to issue a challenge.
Yeah.
So I used the Talon to strike first and caused a shitload of wounds on him, and he failed at least 2. So that means he's dead. The Pyroclast managed to get a single hit against Horus.
Yeah, they didn't do anything.
Because he hit on 6s. Vulkan took him down to one wound. He only did 3 wounds, but I failed 2. So he's down to 1 wound. But luckily, at the end of the turn, I rolled a 5 up for his will not die. So Horus is now back to 2 wounds. Yep. And that's it, which is good because it's keeping Vulkan locked in combat for Pete's turn.
Yep. And my go 3.
Your turn 3.
Cool. Okay, movement phase, 18th Legion turn 3. So essentially, the Pyroclast here, all they did is it just moved and ran a little bit just to take, hopefully get in the centre of the board, be an absolute pain in the arse in the middle of the board. Try and take that. The Rhino reversed here, trying to secure my own zone. To stay behind the wall, gives it a cover save of 5 up anyway. The Recon Marines are staying still to do some shooting. And my other Pyroclast 2 left moved towards the Spartan, which it then used a reaction to withdraw straight back. And then I parked the Rhino in front of it. So hopefully it should make it a bit more difficult to shoot the poor little guys. And the Recon Marines over there stayed still. And now it is the shooting phase. It's probably not much going to happen. Really, I've only got a couple of shots. Let's do that. Okay, as expected, nothing happened with shooting phase. All I did is I tried to use the Recon Marines really to fire at these guys over here, and those Recon Marines to shoot at them, and they didn't fail any saves, so nothing happened there. So yeah, on to the combat. Let's do it. Right, end of combat. We only had one. It was this one. I challenged with Vulkan against Horus because I just didn't want him to squish over all my Pyroclasts. Horus caused a wound. And I caused the wound, so the little sod would have been dead if it wasn't for Will Not Die last turn, which we talked about. So yeah, Tom managed to get his Will Not Die last go, otherwise he'd been squished. Anyway, he caused a wound on me. I didn't get my Will Not Die, even though it was a 4 up. So we just sit there hitting each other with big, massive hammers and stuff. Cool, and then your turn 3, is it?
Turn 3.
Wow. Turn 3, we've got, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. Okay, cool. All right, turn 3 movement. Let's do it.
Cool. So I've moved the javelins over to the side of the board here, just to get away from your stuff, and also get a nice line of sight to your rhino in the deployment zone. Same with the normal land speeders. They've jumped up into the middle, so they can shoot down at the other recon squad holding that bit of the deployment zone. And by doing that, you have advanced your pyroclasts even closer into the middle of the board.
Yep.
I also moved the Spartan sideways to here, so I pivoted, moved round. So I've got a couple of shots on the pyroclasts, and hopefully enough to take out the rhino as well. I've moved these tactical marines just firmly into the no man's land part of the board, but close enough that I can move into one deployment zone or the other if needed. And my Mark VI tactical marines are starting to move closer to your last few recon marines over there, hopefully to get rid of them rather swiftly.
Yep.
And that's it.
Cool.
So,
Right. Shooting, right? Cool. Okay.
Cool.
Go for it.
So, for my turn 3 shooting phase, I started with the javelins, firing over Pete's rhino in the behind the defence line. Managed to take it down to 1 hull point, and it is just snap firing for a turn, so it can still move. Then the Spartan took out the rhino and the last 2 pyroclasts by splitting its fire with machine spirit.
Yeah.
The land speeders up here managed to score 15 wounds on Pete's recon marines back here, but thanks to Shrouded and just passing saves, I only managed to kill 2 of them, and they passed their leadership test, so they're not going anywhere. And right on the other side of the board, my Mark VI tactical marines luckily managed to take out the last 2 of Pete's recons.
4 saves, I failed 2.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been that was quite a successful shooting.
Yeah, it was horrendous.
But now onto the
combat again.
Yeah,
One wounded.
I've only got Horus left.
Come on,
so.
let's kill him, Vulkan. He's only got 1 wound left. Alright, cool. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
So
Tell its own story, doesn't it?
in a bizarre turn of events, I used the War Master's Talon again and managed to kill Vulkan. So I caused 4 wounds with managed to cause 3 wounds with deflag rate, and then a further 3 wounds from it. So unfortunately, Pete then failed.
I failed 3 out of 4, and then 2 out of 3. Or 3 ups.
So yeah, and Horus is initiative 6, so he managed to take out Vulkan before Vulkan can strike back, and then the rest of the pyroclasts that were there ran away and he hacked them down. So yeah, at the start of Pete's turn 4, Horus is there on his own in the open with 1 wound.
I'm hoping to kill him. Anyway, hopefully this lot don't whiff it. If they do, then I'm probably going to get tabled. But there we go. It is what it is. Let's do it. Okay, the turns are getting really, really quick now. Essentially my turn 4 then. So pyroclast were over here, span right next to Horus, who ran off over there. And then the rhino moved a bit and the recon marines hid behind it. The reason is I just need to hide from his shooting. So if the rhino dies and doesn't explode, I should be secure away from getting shot. And then yeah, it really comes down to this. If I can kill Horus, I've got a chance. If I don't kill him, it's definitely game over. Yeah. There's nothing I can do about it. I'll just get gunned down, charged, and absolutely ripped to pieces. So we're on turn 4. Let's see what happens. Okay, painful is not even coming close to the word, really. So I had 10 melter guns shooting at Horus. I think I missed with 4 or something like that. I caused 3 wounds because he's tough as 7, which is insane anyway. And then he passed every single save, and then the next turn he rolled a 2, 2, and a 1. So there we go. For his return fire. So anyway, he didn't kill anyone, but unfortunately for the Salamanders, it's pretty much all over. I don't think I can hold on even for another turn. He's just got too many units left, and I have hardly anything left. So let's see what he does in turn 4. Go for it.
Cool. So I started with the Spartan.
Yep.
And I split fire at the pyroclasts, killing 1 with the pintle-mounted multi-melter, and then the hull-mounted twin-link las cannon and sponson las cannon array shot into the rhino that was protecting the recon squad.
Yes.
And managed to get 3 penetrating hits, and 1 of those ended up as an explodes.
Yep.
Which removed the rhino,
yep.
and therefore the land speeders were able to open up with the Volkite, and unfortunately Pete failed just the right amount of saves to lose those last 3 men from my Volkite speeders.
Yep.
And leaving the javelins free to start harassing the pyroclasts, who unfortunately then failed their leadership check and have now started fleeing back to the edge of the board.
Yep. So the madness for me.
On top of that, Horus also got another wound back, so he's back to 2 wounds.
Oh god, that guy. Yeah. So for me, it was a case of if the rhino died and it didn't get exploded, then he couldn't shoot me with any of this stuff. Of course, it exploded. Then I got killed, and then, as I said, Robin Saunter's a wound, and they ran away as well. So I think it's my last go, isn't it?
This is your
my turn 5, last go. So it's going to be very quick. I might as well keep this rolling. So can I regroup them?
Yes.
7, I do. So they're going to stand there, and then do not much, and then can't fire anything. So it's your go. So I shall pause it there. Go for it.
Right, so I've just moved everything round onto the pyroclasts so I can try and
delete
get a last little shot, try and wipe them off the board and table Pete.
There he is. Look at the
even Horus
arse right in the freaking middle.
Jumped in the middle.
Unbelievable.
So you can get one little extra last shot.
Unbelievable. Standing in the middle of the board. What an arse.
And I'm going to save him till last as well, just so I can pick off any stragglers. So I've got the Spartan, the Volkite, speeders, and those guys. So
I'm not sure the 6 dudes I've got left are going to survive this.
No, there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, here we go. All right, cool.
So
go for it.
Cool. So I started with the Spartan.
Yep.
And managed to take out 4 guys with just the Spartan in the end. Yeah. Unfortunately, you were shrouded, but didn't do enough. And then the javelins finished off the last 2.
There is none left.
And that's it. And that's
it is a complete and utter wipeout.
And I guess the final thing I'll do, just to watch it, is it will not die on Horus. Who knows?
No, the scumbag.
He finishes on 2 wounds.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, yes, it's it's tabling. So Horus took the centre of the board. That arse.
Yeah, he is a nasty piece of work.
Yeah, horrible. And then obviously you've got Spartan alive. So I mean, you secured all the zones. You got all the points. I think you get 3 for. Let's check. I mean, it is the last go, so you got 3 from these, haven't you?
So no, I've got 7 for them because that's your deployment zone.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, 7 for that.
I've got
7 for that.
5 for these guys because they're in the middle grounds.
Yeah.
And the Spartan has got 3.
Yeah.
So that's what is it? That's 15.
Yeah.
I've got Last Man Standing.
16.
And I've got Warlord.
Yeah.
Which is 17.
Yeah.
18 because you were a Primarch.
18 to 0, I think, mate. I didn't do any sort of things. I didn't kill anything. The only thing I could have got point for was him. I think so. We had a chat about it earlier during the game, and I think the turning point for this was him getting his wound back. Yeah. Because if he didn't get his wound back, he would have died, and it would then freed up Vulkan to charge the Spartan. Yeah. Then the Pyroclasts that were there to destroy these speeders, and it was literally down to just really bad dice rolls on my part, because Vulkan was 5 wounds when he got hit by 1 round of combat for him to delete him. Yeah. And then that was the game, really.
Yeah, it was. I mean, if you had Vulkan alive, I don't know if I had enough shooting to actually deal with him. Yeah. It's just because Vulkan was dead, it meant that everything I had left could focus on like 1 unit at a time and go and just be done. Yeah, mate. So, it was it's tough. It was really tough for me. I mean, it's good though because it makes me rethink about some choices from army. Probably want to have my Centurions having Terminator armor instead, Cataphract armor, just so my Dragon Scale Storm Shield giving me a free up instead. It was really nice, Librarian giving my Biomancy, giving them extra toughness and strength as well in combat. That was really cool. So I was able to stop, Leviathans, Contemptors doubling me out. I learned a lot from the game. It was really cool. Even though I got wiped out, it was all good. It's fun, and it's always fun to play Tom. Yeah, thank you very much, Pete.
Cheers,
I wish
mate.
I could say the same.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'd say for me, Horus was fantastic, as I expected him to be. This is my first game using him. But for me, the unit of the match have got to be the cheeky Volkite land speeders. Just like they can just fly around, put out 30 shots with deflag rate a turn, and they were causing between 13 and 15 wounds.
It was insane, mate.
And that's with the -1 strength against you, so wounding on 3s. rather than 2s. So against normal units, they're brilliant. I think they're better than the Volkite Calvarian heavy support squad just because they're more manoeuvrable.
Yeah.
16-inch move and a 45-inch range gun is
they're insane.
Fantastic.
They're insane, man.
But yeah.
Cool.
Cheers for the game, Pete.
Nice one. Right? That's the overview of the battlefield. Dominated by the 16th Legion and Horus. Well done. Good job.